started. ओम श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। विजय सुंदरम जी। So let us chant from 36, verse number 36. Avachya vadamscha bahun.
Avachya vadamscha bahun.
Vadishyanti tavahitaha.
Vadishyanti davahitaha.
Nindantastava samarthyam.
Nindastasva samartyam.
Nindantastava samarthyam. Tato dukkataram nukim.
Tato dukkataram nukim.
Hato va prapsyasi swargam.
Hato va prapsyasi swargam.
Jitva va bhokshyase mahim.
Jitva va bhokshyase mahim.
Tasmaduttishta kaunteya.
Tasmaduttishta kaunteya.
Yuddhaya krita nischayah.
Yuddhaya krita nisyah. Nischayah.
Sukha dukhe same kritva.
Sukha dukhe same kritva.
Labha labhau jaya jayau.
Labha labhau jaya jayau.
Tato yuddhaya yujyasva.
Tato yuddhaya yujyasva.
Naivam papamavapsyasi.
Naivam papama vapyasi.
Avapsyasi.
Avapyasi.
Yesha te bihita sankhye.
Yesha te pikita sankhe.
Buddhir yoge tvimam shruno.
Buddhir yoge vimam srunu.
Buddhya yukto yaya partha.
Buddhya yukto yaya partha.
Karma bandham prahasyasi.
Karma bandham brahasyasi.
Okay. So last class we were looking at this shloka number 39, where Krishna is indicating that whatever I have taught you comes under the topic of Sankhya. Sankhya. So clearly indicating that he is going to change the topic. Same topic really speaking. But he is saying, Imam Yoge Shruno. Shruno means here, listen. What I've told you is what is called Sankhya. And Yoge to Imam Shruno. So listen now to this vision of yoga. What I've taught you is the vision of Sankhya. Sankhya means Brahma. Sankhya can mean Atma. Sankhya can mean the knowledge of Brahma, knowledge of Atma. So I've told you the vision of Sankhya. Now listen to what is called yoga. So there are these two divisions in the Bhagavad Gita and in the Upanishads also. Sankhya Yoga or Jnana Yoga is one portion, and then the other portion of Vedanta is called Karma Yoga, or Karma Yoga, under which you get all the other yogas. If there are any Bhakti Yoga, Upasana Yoga, all these things are there. We will talk about these things, but everything comes under one phrase, one word called Karma Yoga. So now Krishna has been introducing this Karma Yoga. So last time we said we started, how did we come here? We began to Pariksha Lokan Karma Chitta. We began to analyze our experiences. And we said that there is something that is missing. And what I see is not really what is. And therefore, I want to know a little more. And this seeking security and seeking karma doesn't seem to fulfill me. And what is there something more? Then all the things we have learned as a child, getting exposed to our grandparents and our parents, all those things begin to slowly become more real in our life. And then we come to a class like this, and the Shastram says that there is something called moksha, and Vedanta says moksha is already achieved, but you don't know. This is what Vedanta says, essentially. Moksha is not a travel to a particular place like what we have been thinking. It's not a travel to a place called Swarga. Even though one can visit Swarga, nothing stops you from doing that. If you have enough punya, you will go to Swarga, no doubt. But that is not moksha. Moksha is you. You are what you're seeking. This brilliant idea is shared by the Shastram. It's talked about passionately by the Shastram. And the Shastram says, if that is the case, then this so-called samsara, so-called life, which I am afraid of. Often I'm okay, but then oftentimes I'm also, it's giving me free fear. That fear is born of the lack of knowledge of what I am, lack of what I really am. So this we have seen, this is how it starts, this is how the journey started. So now I want to know a little more about myself, if we say. So then we say that moksha is obtained by knowing, gaining knowledge of myself. Then Atma Jnanam is gained only by operating the Shastram. Vedas is the Pramanam. Otherwise, there is no way to know this. Simply saying I am the whole, I am full is not enough. It doesn't do anything to me. So I have to operate the Pramanam called Shabda Pramanam, Shastram. For that, I need, of course, I need a guru who can operate, who helps you operate. It is no use. Guru operating the pramana is of no use to you. Each of us has to operate it. So the guru helps. Guru Shastra Vakyeshu Vishwashaha Shraddha. So we saw that in Tattva Bodha. Then with that Shraddha I approach the Shastram. Then what happens? Then I find I need a little preparation. Why? What kind of preparation I need? To completely appreciate the vision of the Shastram, my mind has to be prepared. More prepared. Everybody is prepared, no doubt, but prepared in the sense the Shastram wants you to be prepared. It is called Antakarana Shuddhi. I need Antakarana Shuddhi. Or I need Sadhana Chatushtayam. That is even better. So I need Viveka. I need to build Vairagyam. Viveka means a discriminative inquiry. Vairagyam means dispassion. Okay? And then Sadhana Chatushtaya Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. Then more disciplines. Mastery of the mind, mastery of the senses. Titiksha. Titiksha means putting up with difficulties without complaining. These are all very, very interesting attributes. If we write our resume, when we apply for a job, we don't generally list these things. I have Viveka, I have Vairagyam. Like this they don't say. Now, sometimes in interviews they will check. When you face difficulties, tell me, what is the most difficult period of your life? So like that they will ask you. Why do they ask these questions? Because they want to know whether you panic in those situations or what. They want to know. They want to hear from you. They can figure out if you are lying also, they can figure out. Very easy. Very easy to figure out. And if you're honest, that also will come out. Honesty will just come out like that. So they want to see. You're a great guy. You're very accomplished. Your grades are all very good. And of course, you've led big things, projects. But how do you deal with tough situations? So like that, Shastram says Titiksha, these words it uses. My goodness. Yesterday I was listening to Swami Paramarthananda ji talking about Viveka Chudamani. So there he was explaining all these words. Viveka Chudamani. Sometime, God willing, now we can study that. And Shraddha. Shraddha is an important attribute in studying the Shastra. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Like that, Krishna will tell later on. One who has Shraddha alone gains this knowledge. Shraddha means a belief, a conviction that this has to be true. Look at that. Look at that. This has to be true. There cannot be anything other than this. That kind of conviction has to come. That will come. So all of us have these attributes, but as we study the Shastram, the beauty is these attributes also will grow along with us. So therefore, what did we say? In order for me to appreciate this Atma Vidya, I must have Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampattihi, or I must have Antakarana Shuddhihi. These phrases we are beginning to use now. How do I get that Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti? Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti means fourfold qualifications, literal translation. The fourfold wealth, like Vivekam, Vairagyam, Shamadamadi, and Mumukshutvam. So maybe I should talk a little more about it, because I don't think I explained these things to you in detail. So the Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti is a group of fourfold qualifications for studying the Shastra. First one is Viveka. Viveka. Viveka is what? Atma Anatma Viveka. The ability to differentiate between Atma and Anatma is called Viveka. You don't have to know what Atma is, because we are still learning. But the ability to say there is something that is dependent on time, and there is something not dependent on time, and that is me. This ability to see it constantly is called Viveka. And we build Viveka in our daily life also. We build Viveka. This example comes to me all the time. So this clothing store, I went to a clothing store, and one brand name was, I look up, some shirt or whatever, this Character. That was the name of the brand or the company, whatever, Character. Now, if I think that if I wear that shirt, my character will improve. Suppose I think like that. That means Viveka is not there. Viveka is not there. So, Viveka, seeing the reality behind things, that is called Viveka. Ability to see, that ability is called Viveka. Okay. Then Vairagyam, Viragasya Bhavaha, Vigataha Ragaha Yasya, which means what? Raga. Let's talk about Raga. Raga means a desire, not simply a desire, but a like. That's how everything starts. I like something. I like it even more. And then now I cannot live without it. This not being able to live without it, being bound by some object through what is called this raga, through this like, is called raga. Raga. Raga is that which pulls me towards things. Things don't pull me. The raga is what pulls me towards things. Things don't pull me, because things are all inert. How can they pull? Cannot. They are just there. It's up to me to decide if I want to get pulled or do not want to get pulled. That capacity to say, yeah, I love it, and I can be without it. It is difficult to be without it. Who can be without a cell phone these days? Tell me. Suppose you say, I want to practice Vairagya because I want to study the Shastra. I want to be without a cell phone. What we are saying is, you are welcome to use what you have to use. But are you the master of the cell phone, or is cell phone controlling my life? This we have to decide. This we have to decide. That is called, that ability to say, I am on top of things. That ability to say, no object in this world can victimize me. Okay? No object in the world can victimize me. So the other day we said, so this example of the alcohol is also given. How alcohol just, person is addicted to alcohol, and you try to convince him So we met some alcoholics. You try to convince that person, hey, this much is not needed. You can slowly cut down. It's going to eat away your liver and you're going to have all kinds of problems. And then that fellow will respond, will justify. All his engineering and doctor education he's going to use, all the logic he has learned he's going to use now to convince me why I'm wrong. So for that, what he does, he puts a small live creature inside that bottle, and he says, "Look, did you see what happened?" I said, "Yeah, that insect died, and yeah, that's what happens. That's why I'm having this. I won't have any insects in my stomach, whereas you will have some insects." This is how you will argue. And how can you argue with this person? No, you can't. So therefore, this is called intense raga, called addiction, of course, we all know that. And so it's an extreme. So viragaha means having a say over your likes and dislikes. And saying, no, welcome to like whatever I want. I love things, I love people, but I will not allow myself to be victimized by anything. That's called dispassion. I can say enough. I love it, but that's enough. This is called vairagya. Okay. Third quality is Shamadi Shatka Sampatti. Shatka means 6 in Sanskrit. 6. Sampatti, wealth. The group of 6, the wealth, called a group of 6 attributes starting from Shama. That is called Shamadi Shatka Sampatti. A literal translation. Okay. So very, very important, very popular in the Shastram, often quoted. Let's see. Shama, Dama, and then Shraddha, Titiksha, or Shama, Dama, Uparatihi, Shraddha, Titiksha, Samadhanam. 6. Shamaha, Damaha, Uparatihi, Shraddha, Titiksha, Samadhanam. The order may be little. Maybe Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam. That's how it comes out. These are the 6 attributes. So we'll quickly go through that. Shamaha. Shamakaha, Tatobodha. Mano Nigraha. So mastery over the mind. Mastery over the mind. So the mind has what is the nature of the mind? The mind's nature is to move around and keep on showing things. Thoughts keep on changing. And there are some thoughts that I hold on to, I grab, and then I follow through that thought. And so here the manaha, the mind being central to all our likes, dislikes, and so forth, and our thoughts, processes, one has to have a say over the mind. Even though the mind says, go there, I must have the ability to say, no, that is fine. I will not go there. So that ability to have a say over the mind in all my pursuits in my daily life, whether it is relating to people or dealing with things, situations, food habits, all these things. That attribute of mastery of the mind is called Shama. Next is Dama. Dama. Dama is Indriya Nigraha. Indriya Nigraha means mastery over one's sense organs, one's sense control. It's called Damaha. Because everything we experience in the world is through the sense organs only. And so those senses which are supposed to help us apparently seem to bind us also. And so they have put Dhamma as an important attribute, that sometimes the sense organs just pull me, eyes just pull me towards things. The tongue just takes me towards things. And then the ability to just withdraw from that. Withdraw from that deliberately. So forcefully sometimes, saying, no, this is it. I shouldn't do anymore. So even though the mind is involved, here the sense organs are emphasized because sense organs are operating. And I seem to be a victim of the sense organs of my tongue. And so I just withdraw myself. The ability to say, no, that's it, is called Dhammaha, when the sense organs are operating. Okay, Shamaha, Dhammaha. Uparatihi. Uparatihi. So, Swadharmana Anushtanam eva. Tattva says. Uparati has two meanings. One meaning I'll tell you now. It is doing your own duty, coming back to your ashrama, coming back to your varna, and then doing one's duty. Because the mind is constantly going all over and confusing myself. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Hey, there is something called Swadharma, and make sure you are following your Swadharma. And every person in their stage of life has certain duties, and so those duties, am I doing it or not? That ability to come back to do one's duty is called Uparati. Uparati also means sannyasa. Just by the way. So the ability to let go of things is also called Uparati. So we will not dwell too much on these things right now. Just giving you an idea of this. Okay. Then Titiksha. Titiksha is an important attribute. Shitoshna Sukha Dukkhadi Sahishnutvam. That is the definition. Sahishnutvam, ability to put up with, ability to bear. Bear with what? Shitoshnadi, hot, cold, etc. Success, failure, Sukha Dukkha. Ability to bear with these things. Why you should have the ability to bear these things? Even before studying the Shastra? Well, because we realize this is how life is going to be. And there are going to be ups and downs. So, that shock absorber in me that makes me handle all these things without complaining. That is called Titiksha. Why I need not complain? Well, where you complain, you have to do certain things, you do it. But constantly complaining about situations, it is not Titiksha. So, ability to accept things as they come, because that's how things are. That's called Titiksha. So, Swamiji gives the example. I remember this. So here in India, air conditions are not the norm, and power goes off every once in a while. So we are getting used to all these power cuts and so forth. And so I thought about this, what happens to these classes if the power gets cut? So the laptop has a battery. So the laptop is insulated from the power cut. And then internet. So this modem is running on outside power. I don't have a battery. So if the power goes off, the internet will go off. So for that, I have a backup. This Geo, what do you call that? Wi-Fi is there. So I can use that. So there is that backup. The light will go off. So the light, so the UPS is not there. I chose not to have an UPS because with all these batteries there everywhere in front of us, why do I need a UPS, I thought. So like that, there's all these backups these days. But often power cut, Indians are used to power cuts. Then the guy goes to America, Swamiji says, and then lives for a few months. And then the first loss, the first thing this person loses is titiksha. Because he's forgotten about power cuts, he's forgotten about sweating, he's forgotten everything because inside AC, outside AC, everything is AC, and then or it's cold. He's wearing jackets. And then he comes back to India and says, what? It's so hot. It's so hot, my dear. What happened? You went from here only. What happened? It's so hot. Suddenly India changed in 6 months or what? So that attribute, very important attribute called titiksha. One has to build that attribute. So sometimes they put up, one can practice building titiksha. Put up with inconveniences. Don't immediately reach out for something that's very pleasing. Builds titiksha. Okay. This is the fourth of the 6-fold qualifications. Titiksha. Ability. So they use some words. So forbearance, tolerance. These kinds of words are used, but little dangerous. Tolerance, if I say, tolerance means I tolerate you. Suppose I say I tolerate you. What is the meaning of that? It has a negative connotation. Forbearance also can mean there's a lot of complaint behind it potentially. So we want to make sure the titiksha comes without a complaint. It is things are the way it is. Things will improve, and so I am okay. That disposition is called titiksha. Then there is shraddha. Shraddha. Look at this. Guru Shastra Vakyeshu Vishwashaha Shraddha. So we said that earlier, that what the Shastram is saying has to be true. And even though now I am beginning to learn what it is, I can see it has to be true. Nothing else is true. The words of the teacher are true. And if there is any contradiction, that contradiction is because I don't understand properly, not because the teacher doesn't understand. So I give the benefit of doubt to the teacher and get my doubts clarified. This complete belief on the Shastram is called Shraddha. Complete means what? Pending understanding. Pending understanding. I don't follow now. I'm willing to believe you. I'm willing to believe what you say, and I am allowing my understanding to grow. And if there are any doubts, of course, clarification is always possible. So that journey, that attitude is called Shraddha. Example, like this. Well, I show this to you. Show this object to you. And I say, look at this apple. Look at this beautiful apple. Okay. Then, so maybe some wrong word came out of my mouth. I wanted to say something, but some other word comes out. Sometimes that problem is there. So you're thinking now, no, I think technology just misspoke. Then I say, look at this beautiful red, round Shimla apple. Okay, Shimla. So we get some apple from Shimla. We also get all these Washington apples and all that these days. It's all coming all over the world. These apples have, without visa, they keep on traveling. Amazing these days. So I ask them, do you have any apples from India or not? Yes, sir, there it is, Shimla apple. Or some other apple from locally grown. So I say Shimla apple. And then I make it very clear to you now. I'm not misspeaking, right? No longer misspeaking. I make it clear. Beautiful, tasty also I say. And Shimla apple. Now tell me, how, when you hear something like this, you have Shraddha in my words, okay? You have been listening all along, and you're even writing notes. So you feel it is so serious, you're writing notes also. Now, will you believe the statement I made saying this is an apple, Shimla apple? Can you believe it? Because like you believed everything else so far, why can't you believe it? Well, you cannot believe it. Why? Because even before the Shraddha in Jaykumarji's words, you have Shraddha in what? In your eyes. Your eyes. Shraddha. The complete commitment to your eyes. What my eyes are telling me cannot be wrong. So the eyes are telling you this is some kind of a clock, and you cannot tell your eyes, no, my eyes are fooling me. I will believe what Jaykumarji says. You can't say that. Why you can't say? Because you have Shraddha. The attitude with which you operate your eyes is called Shraddha. Correct? With that same attitude, we operate this pramanam, this Shabda pramanam called the Vedas. Okay, Shraddha. We are not going to talk any more than that. So that is called Shraddha. Okay. Guru Vakya Shastreshu Vishwasa. Vishwas karo. They say Vishwas. So that is Shraddha. Pending verification. Pending verification of the knowledge that is being talked about. Okay. Then what? Last, sixth attribute is called Samadhi or Samadhana. Samadhana is the word here. Samadhana. Samadhana means Chitta Ekagrata. Focus. Focus on the mind. Or rather, ability to focus the mind. Ability to focus the mind. That is very needed. Obviously, for Shastram it is needed. So, see, these days, the WhatsApp, some short messages you get, you look, and then you turn, you do this. And then some long message comes about something. And you read a paragraph, 2 paragraphs, 3rd paragraph, you're deciding, should I read or not? Then you read the 3rd, and then you do, gone, over. Beautiful article, COVID-19, and why it's this, why it's that, and Mass General Hospital, big doctor is talking. Hey, you have to read this. This is important. It affects your life. No, sorry. You just show the thumb to the doctor. Important doctor, my God. And you said, come on, you're out. I'm not interested in you anymore. Samadhana. It's a loss. Samadhana. Unable to focus. I'm not saying just because you did it, you don't have samadhana. That's not what is meant. That WhatsApp makes you do this. And so somehow I think it can also subconsciously make you feel that anything which takes more than half a minute is just too much time spent on something. But here, time must be spent. And lagatar 60 minutes, the class is going on. And the mind has so many things to do. And so that samadhana is needed. Samadhana. Bringing the mind back. This is why you practice dhyanam also. So in the meditations we have done, and we will continue to do that. The mind going away is natural. Bringing the mind back is called meditation. Bringing the mind back. Yes, enough. You roamed around. Come back. Come back to the chat. That we practice. We practice samadhana. So some people, they can stay with whatever they are doing. Cooking, reading a book, studying, doing puja. Doesn't matter. Whatever you do. That focus is there. The mind phone call comes, fine. Take the phone call, immediately come back. Coming back. That ability. Such people enjoy what is called samadhana. Very important attribute. Okay. This completes the 6-fold attributes which is the third of the four attributes, four qualifications called sadhana chatushtayam. What is the fourth one? Mumukshutvam. Mumukshutvam. So related to the word moksha. 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 The desire for moksha, in Sanskrit there is a word which is derived from the word moksha itself, and that is called mumukshu. Desire for moksha is mumuksha. The one who desires moksha is called mumukshu. Mumukshu. And so, seeing the mumukshu in oneself is called mumukshutvam. Mumukshutvam means what? The intense desire for moksha. Intense desire for liberation, freedom. Everybody wants freedom. But how important is it for you? You really want to be free, or you are just going to do certain things that you've been doing and then want to be happy that way? This is the question. So that intense desire, moksho me bhuyat iti ichha. Iti ichha. Tivra ichha. That is called mumukshutva. So all these attributes, we all have these attributes, no doubt. But everything has to, we build all these things. As we listen to the Shastra, even as I was listening to the Shastra 20-25 years ago, I was very excited. I was following. But all were there. And then in time, I found that my Viveka was building, my Vairagya was building, all the other Shamadhi building, Mumukshutvam also building. Because that's how it is. We have to. The Shravanam itself helps us strengthen all these attributes. Okay, I said all this. Why did I talk about Samadhi? Sadhana Chatushtayam. Sadhana Chatushtayam means fourfold means for studying the Shastra. It's so important that it is the Shastram is using the word sadhanam for it. Sadhanam means means. The only way to approach the Shastram. That is this fourfold qualification. We said all this because we said moksha is my goal, and then we said with the Shastram only I can, or rather moksha is the goal, and then Vedanta says only through knowledge I can remove this ignorance of who I am. Then for that I have to operate the Shastram, and for that I need a teacher, a guru. But even that is not enough, and I need a antakarana shuddhihi. That antakarana shuddhihi is the same as what we just talked about, which is sadhana chatushtayam. I want to build these fourfold qualifications. And how do I do that? Then karma yoga, a life of karma yoga comes into play. Karma yoga. What is karma yoga? We are going to be seeing in the second chapter and the third chapter. Karma yoga will be there. It is an attitude with which I do karma, with which I do any action, whether it is a Vedic action, religious action, or whether it is a non-religious worldly action. The attitude with which I do the action and the attitude with which I respond to the results of those actions. When things happen, how am I going to respond? The results can be exactly what I want, what I expected them to be. Swamiji gives the example of this crossing the road. I crossed the road and I've reached the other side. Exactly what I want. I'm about to cross the road and somebody honks and then he stops in front of me, she stops in front of me and she says, "Hey, how are you, Jaykumarji? Where are you going?" I, go Araspuram. Okay, I'm going right there. In fact, I'm going beyond that. I can drop you there. Arey, great. Catch the bus. I was about to catch the bus, but now I got more than the bus. And no waiting, and no, nothing, no money spent on ticket. Just go. And so I got more than what I want. I got exactly what I want. I got more than what I want. Or I can get less than what I want. Keep on waiting, bus doesn't come. And some days it's like this. And or the bus comes and it's crowded, people are hanging. In India, this is possible. People are hanging and there's no way there's no place even to put your toe. And gone, that bus is gone, you got let go. So less than what I want, because now I am 45 minutes late. Then there is something, then what happens? There is a fourth option. Fourth option is, I was crossing the road and I wake up asking, where am I? I wake up asking what? Where am I? All these fundamental questions, right? Where am I? Who am I? Until now, I never asked, who am I? I was not bothered about asking the question, who am I? But now I ask the question, who am I? Why am I here? What is this place? You know, that. So 3 days later, I woke up my eyes in a hospital and then I'm trying to figure out all this world around me. I'm trying to make sense of, okay? This is also same thing, crossing the road. That is the action I did. I didn't do anything different. I wanted to cross the road. But I end up I did not see this banana peel. So these days it's not that common. But people generally have the idea of throwing things around. Somebody threw the banana peel. I didn't see it. So this karma, I didn't see it. I fell down this and that. So opposite of what I want. This is exactly opposite of what I want. Who wanted to be in the hospital? No. So this fourfold outcomes are there. Now, outcomes are not guaranteed. Action depends on me. I can do what I can do. I must do what I can do. And I will do to the best of my ability. But what about the results? Results can be any one of these four types. And so, how am I going to respond? That attitude with which I receive these responses, it's called prasada buddhi. First thing is what? Karma. With what attitude I do my actions? I do my actions as an offering to Ishvara. Why it is an offering to Ishvara? Because the whole world is Ishvara. Therefore, whatever I do is going to Ishvara. When I view my actions like that, then no action can be a wrong action. Because that attitude sanctifies it. Of course, I have to be dharmic. Dharma also is Ishvara. Dharma is Ishvara. Swadharma is Ishvara. My duty itself is Ishvara. When I do my duty, that itself becomes an offering to Ishvara. This is how I Ishvaraize my actions. And by accepting the results as prasada, I complete the whole cycle of action, result, action, result. And this attitude of Ishwararpana buddhi and prasada buddhi is called karma yoga. We will see more and more of it. But this is where, this shloka is where Sri Krishna is introducing yoge tu imam shrunu. That yoga is this karma yoga. And and so we have what is called Sankhya yoga or Jnana yoga, and we have Karma yoga. Sankhya yoga is what? It's the study of the Shastram and eventually removal of the ignorance of who I am, which reveals my nature to me. That process is called Sankhya yoga. And Karma yoga, we say, is this attitude which gains me this sadhana chatushtaya sampattihi, which helps me gain antakarana shuddhihi. And that Karma yoga, we say, is an indirect means. Jnana yoga is a direct means, and Karma yoga is an indirect means. Why? Because without that Without that antakarana shuddhihi, the teaching, the assimilation of the teaching doesn't happen to the fullest extent. Therefore, we say knowledge is a direct means, karma yoga is a indirect means. And important to understand then that we can't go away saying there are two paths. One is called Jnana Yoga, one is called Karma Yoga. Correct? Now, I think based on this clarification, you can say Karma Yoga is needed. The attitude of Karma Yoga is needed so I can become ready for knowledge. Therefore, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga in a way go hand in hand. Hand in hand. Both are needed. And so we will never say there are two paths Krishna is offering. One is called Jnana Yoga, another is called Karma Yoga. Although in the 3rd chapter, he will make a statement, something like that. He will say, Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam, Karma Yogena Yoginam. He's going to say that. Lokesmin Divida Nishtha is going to say that. But it can't confuse us because he is saying for those who are ready for knowledge, for them, they must pursue this knowledge exclusively called Jnana Yoga. And those who are not yet ready for it, for them, Karma Yoga is what I recommend, is what Krishna says. Which is correct, which is perfect. Correct? So, one has to build and come to a point where the Shastram becomes even more approachable. Shastram begins to reveal itself. Okay. So this is important to understand so that we don't think that now Bhagavad Gita is 18 chapters. Each chapter is called a particular yoga. Arjuna Vishada Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga, Sannyasa Yoga, Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Hinduism is a great religion. Why? Because it offers not just one yoga, but 18 yogas in just one text. Oh my God. And on top of that, there is Ashtanga Yoga. That is 8. There are 8 limbs of yoga. And Patanjali gave us 8 more ways to get moksha. And on top of that, there is all this Nada Yoga and Anahat Yoga and Kriya Yoga. And wow, Hinduism is the way to go because it appeals to everybody. Anybody can choose what they want, like they go to the store and you can buy any brand of oats you want, any soap you want. Not easy to buy any soap because there's a whole aisle full of soap. And constantly, and now COVID also. So you have to constantly, mind is also changing. So like that, Hinduism is great. And now add to that, Hinduism has many gods. It's polytheistic. You heard about all these things, I think. And so taking people on a wrong track. Hinduism is not polytheistic. Hinduism doesn't offer many paths for moksha. It appears like there are many paths, understood. Wonderful. It's all many paths to Karma Yoga. That is all it is. Because when you are already Mukta Purusha, where is the question of many paths? Many paths can be there. If I have to go somewhere to Araspuram, then there are many ways to go. I can take the bus, I can ride my own motorcycle, I can get a ride, I can do so many others. I can walk. If I'm in a mood to walk, I can walk. So many ways are there to go. When the time and place is involved, the manyness, multitudinous, multifaceted, all these things will come only when time and space are involved. When time and space are not involved, only knowledge kicks in. Only knowledge can help you. Correct? Because I am what I am seeking. If I am what I am seeking, which place should I go? How long should I wait? How long should I wait for Atma, for me to know that I am Atma? No. Time and place do not play a role at all. Therefore, this many idea should be given up. But people are carried away, and so Kriya. So I think I have an idea now. I want to start something called Shukriya Yoga. Shukriya Yoga. In Hindi, they say Shukriya for thank you. Maybe it's a Urdu word, but that's just an example. Shukriya. Because Kriya Yoga is now boring, Everybody is doing Kriya Yoga. And people have got bored by that. So I want to offer Shukriya Yoga. Shukriya Yoga means building this attitude of thankfulness for everything you have. Look at Corona. Doesn't it make you see that you must be thankful for everything you have? Shukriya Yoga. Then advertise it. And then people will start signing up. And slowly I will brand it and hire the right people to brand it. And then I will become a master of Shukriya Yoga. And no, because nobody is offering Shukriya Yoga also. Therefore, I can patent it also. And people will come. So this kind of stuff we watch out for. We use whatever yoga is there. Let's use it. But we must be clear about this pursuit of the Shastram. This Jnana Yoga versus Karma Yoga. What does it really mean? And we will understand more and more as we study this. So, not many paths. Krishna is now introducing Karma Yoga as a means for Antakarna Shuddhi, which itself is a means for Jnanam, which is a means for Moksha. Correct? So this is what we want to understand here. And here, to complete this shloka, Shankaracharya says, so here he says, Ishvara prasada nimitta jnana praptehe. He says, one gains this Antakarana Shuddhi, one gains the teacher, one gains the ability to study the Shastram because of Ishvara prasada. Very important thing he uses here. That which is obtained, all these things are obtained due to the kataksham of Ishvara, due to the grace of Ishvara. He says that. Shankara says that. And we appreciate that. Because we've gone through our experiences, we know there is always a slip between the cup and the lip. And obstacles are always there. Gananantva Ganapatigum Havamahe. Gajananam Bhuta Ganadi Shevitam. We constantly say this prayer. Why? Because we see, I want something, but there is no guarantee that I will get it now or later, or I get it in a different way. So Shankara makes it a point to mention that Ishvara Prasada Nimitta Jnana Praptehe, knowledge that is gained through all these various means, through Jnana Yoga, which in turn through Karma Yoga, which in turn through Antakarana Shuddhi, and he says Ishvara Prasadena. And then we will conclude this verse in the next class. And Karma Bandham Prahasyasi. So you will break through this bondage of karma. What is the meaning of that? We will see and then conclude the shloka number 39. Okay. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahishaha Gobrahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Lokas Samastas Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Yam Shobharahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Amritangamaya Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.